Hey, what's up, everybody? Just playing a little bit. Thought I would do an impromptu YouTube live chat and catch you guys up on some stuff that's about to happen for next year and wrap up this year. Just for a few before I go running around for the day. Let's see who's in here. Hey there, good to see you. Yes, you were the only one commenting on my YouTube live, or not my YouTube, but my Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, it's Instagram. Mike205 Martin is the same as my YouTube handle. Charlie Corch, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Good to see you, brother. Hopefully your holidays have been wonderful and all of that good stuff. My Christmas was okay. Got to spend a lot of time with my family, which was good. Didn't get to see all of my family, but I get to see a good chunk of them. Little bit of a difficult one for me, partially because we lost a pretty substantial member of our family this past year. So it's the first round of holidays without him. So that's we got through it. So hopefully yours was good. I've seen so much about people losing family members and friends these last year or so. I definitely feeling it. Hey, Mike Noah, good to see you, brother. Merry Christmas. The big man. Been too long, man. We need to get together soon. So, yeah, it's the day after Christmas. Hopefully you guys got some good Christmas stuff. If you are players, I'd love to hear about the stuff that you guys got to get and what you're checking out with. One of the things I do, I've got Jelly Night tonight, which is a jam that I run here in Atlanta. Every Wednesday, and this is the last Wednesday jam of the year, being the last Wednesday of the year, as it were. In 2019, we are moving the jam to Thursdays. And one of the things I like to do with this jam is it's a little different than a regular jam. I've seen some blues jams where friends of mine have run it, and like they wanted to keep it simple, no pedals, plug your guitar straight in. So, you know, guitar players could be fussy and all that. So I'm doing kind of an opposite thing because my YouTube channel, it really kind of took off a little bit more because of demonstration videos I was doing a couple of years ago, and I'm getting back to that. But in particular, the videos I've done for Orange amps, which are fantastic amps. And as you can see, I have a tiny one up there, which is a little funny on top of these guys, but don't let that fool you. It's not a toy. That thing has gigged and sounded amazing. So I can't speak highly enough about that stuff. Oh, nice. Sebastian Bach. I've not met him, but I hear he's pretty cool. Yeah, Chris is very active on social media. He will definitely like posts and stuff. Just tag him and Fozzy and stuff like that. And he will definitely like it. And I've seen him reshare some things too. If you get some cool pictures or whatever from a Fozzy gig or from any events that he's doing. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, Rich Ward is the man. He's a bro for sure, and he definitely is the bomb, as they say. He's a hell of a guy, hell of a guitar player, hell of a writer, hell of a producer, hell of a. Love that guy so much. Oh, Baby Pig, sweet, nice. I like farm life. I like country life. I'm a big fan of it. I like city life too, but that's part of the reason I like touring so much is I like to go see other cities and enjoy them for a minute and then leave the cities and go back to the country and enjoy those for a minute. But it's a lot of work living in the country. So my hat is off to you. Not that I'm taking my hat off because I haven't washed my hair today. So yeah. So pay no attention to the mess on my little desk over here. So what's going on before I ramble too long into this without saying anything substantive? Everybody's been wondering, well, lots of people have been wondering, what have I been doing? Because I've been a bit quiet the last few years, in particular the last two. What am I doing? I haven't released anything in a while, not with any of my bands. Though I've been playing a lot. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'm probably most active over there. You can see a lot of my stuff that I do. I'm still on Facebook, but Facebook has not proven to be so amazing about everything. So for the most part, Facebook is for me sharing Star Wars stuff and guitar stuff, music stuff, cat stuff, dog stuff. Try to stay away from political stuff. Not that I don't have political opinions. I just have a particular opinion and philosophy about the discussion of political things. And I see how divisive things are, not just here at home in America, but around the world. So as to not alienate everybody for their particular brand of politic and philosophies, because everybody's entitled to theirs, I just stay out of that stuff. And I just ask everybody to, if you have a different idea or you think is a better idea, learn the art of conversation. And you may just convince somebody that your idea is better, rather than trying to just beat them up and shut them down, which seems to be what Facebook has really become. So I don't spend as much time over there. It's really a shame because I have a lot of friends on Facebook that I used to interact with a lot, and I don't anymore because of just the anxiety level of just everything being so absolutely political and divisive all the time. And I don't think that's good for anybody. But that does kind of cycle back into why have I been so quiet the last couple of years on my own music stuff. Some of it has been a lot of it's been dealing with my own depression, my own anxiety. And I had started a project, just to give you the short rundown, after I left, the short rundown. Here's the last 8 years of my life and what got me here. After I left Fozzy in 2009 or 2010, after the Chasing the Grail record came out, I got a distribution deal with Steve Vai's record label, Favored Nations. He was doing a thing called Digital Nations at the time. I was real excited about that. I also hopped on a band with some friends of mine. If you remember Eric Frampton, of course, keyboardist extraordinaire, played on my record 2 of 5. He played on the Duke's record, My Kung Fu Is Good. He played on all of the Stuck Mojo and Fozzy records for that mid-2000 to 2010, I think it was. But anyway, one of my best friends on this planet and just an amazing, amazing keyboardist. He plays in a prog band called Agent Cooper, and those guys have been friends of mine for a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, the bass player for Fozzy and Stuck Mojo, Sean Delson, was in Agent Cooper as well, and he's definitely a brother of mine. And the singer Doug Busby and I used to be roommates years ago. Anyway, we did an EP, we did a record, we did one tour with Tony McAlpine in Europe, which was amazing and difficult, but what a learning experience and an amazing experience to get to know Tony and Achilles Priester and Bjorn Englund on that tour, and Neely Brosh, of course. That was her first European tour. Hey, Neely and Tony and everybody. And since then, I did one short tour with, I did a few short tours with my band running around the Southeast for the most part, doing shows with Open for Vi, did an after party for Vi, opened for Angel Vivaldi. Hey, Angel, if you're watching, Merry Christmas. Lots of local stuff. I'm trying to remember my band. I mean, I've opened for the Aristocrats as well as Richie Kotzen, and just the guitar players, and really blessed to have done a lot of that stuff. But instrumental guitar stuff is a difficult sell here in the Bible Belt, so I don't get to play that stuff as much as I would like to, and I think some of that's probably predicated on the fact that I haven't released a new record. Anywho, I did one Guitar Gods tour in Texas, and that was with Yngwie Malmsteen and Gary Hoey and Bumblefoot. That was kind of amazing. That's been a while ago now. And then I've released a couple of singles. One was a Christmas single called O Come, O Come Emmanuel, which we're in the season, so if you want to stream it, it's on my YouTube channel. It's also on Spotify. You can also buy it on my CD Baby page. If anybody wants to grab the link and post it up there, you can buy everything. You can buy my record 2 of 5, the whole thing, for 99 cents right now. You can also buy my Christmas single, O Come Emmanuel, for 50 cents right now. And you can buy the other single that I wrote, Wherever You Are, that came out a couple of years ago. That is also there for, I think it's for 50 cents right now. I've got everything on sale. Everything must go, 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 go. These digital downloads are fresh still, and you should take advantage of these savings. And if you don't have the coin, which I understand that because I spend my money very, very carefully, then Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, all the places that you could do that. Also, I have been in the band The Dreaded Marco for quite some time now, and we released a record called Safe Word ourselves in 2014. So that's been just 4 years ago we released that record. And through life circumstances and what have you, we did a bunch of shows with a bunch of amazing people over the years since, well, before recording that record, finishing that record, and since that record and promotion of it. But we haven't been able to tour proper, largely because of just life stuff. Everybody's been dealing with everything, having babies, buying houses, getting married, studios closing because of gentrification and all kinds of stuff that's going on here in Atlanta. So it's been a challenge the last few years, not just personally for me, but personally for everybody that I'm around. Since then, I had decided that I needed to work through my depression because I think art and music and writing and all manner of speaking is one of the most therapeutic things that you can do to help you deal with your anxiety and your depression. Hiding things away is not a great thing to do. You know, you got to deal with stuff. So I decided, when was it? It's been a couple of years now. I decided end of the year of 2015, so 3 years ago, that I was going to start working on my next record. I vacillated a lot about what to do with my career and releases. Should I release singles? Should I release EPs and keep a steady stream of content coming out? Or should I just get involved and really just get some stuff out there? And that project ultimately became the Drive album, which I began working on with fervor in January of 2016. So it's been 3 years ago that I started assembling that record together, and it's very complicated. It's 2 hours worth of music. It's about 20 compositions. It is programmatic. It is a concept, if you will. Like, it's very symphonic in the way it was put together, where there is overture, there is exposition, there is touchback into everything that's going on with that. What I found working through that over, I think it was 3 months, because I think I stopped working through the writing process in April of 2016, was that because of the subject matter, which was dealing specifically with autobiographical depression and things like that, I had to stop working on it because it was like looking into a deep, dark hole and not being able to stop looking at it. Very, 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 very rough year for me that year. And it's been a struggle since then. I've not really picked it up. I've tried creating some mobile working solutions with that, with Pro Tools, and a laptop that my sister had gifted me because I'd never had a laptop before, so that maybe I could go to different locations and do editing and writing and drum programming for demos and things like that, so I could get it to a place. And ultimately, it was just a little too challenging, and I needed to back up off of it because the depth of my depression at the time was about insurmountable. So I've done other things to work since then. One of them is a great blessing, And that's probably the thing that everybody's asking me about, like, who am I on tour with? And I've been performing with a group called Jessies Girls. You can find them on Instagram. It's at Jessies Girls IG. And we are a party band, corporate band, wedding band. We play all kinds of events all over the country. And it is stacked with amazing musicians that I am truly blessed to get to work with. And get to know and have in my life. They've become more than friends and coworkers. I believe we're family. And just what an absolute blessing getting to work with them has been for me. Because it got me back out when I needed to be back out, when I didn't have a big rock tour or something like that. And it's definitely work on a level that is it's definitely not the defeat of feeling like, oh, I got to join a cover band just to make a little bit of money. Like, these are really some of the greatest musicians I've ever met in my life. They're all so talented and so fantastic that, and we're doing incredible events. This past year, just for a couple of highlights, besides all of the very, very high cultured weddings that we've done and wedding parties we've done, we've also done fundraisers in New Orleans. We played the Superdome in New Orleans just a couple of months ago. We also played the Reverend Jesse Jackson's birthday party here in Atlanta a couple of months ago. Like, it's pretty amazing the types of events that we've gotten to do, or I've been able to do with them. So I'm very, very blessed in that regard. So I've been doing that. That has satisfied a lot of that stuff and really gotten me back to a place where I can be thinking about, okay, I can focus a lot more of my energy back towards keeping my hands in shape. Why would I practice? What am I going to be working on with music? And by the way, if it helps anybody understand the stupid beard that I have, I've always been able to grow facial hair. Obviously, I have the facial hair gene. Right about the time that I decided that I was going to stop working on my record and my depression was really bad, that was April of 2016. I stopped working on my record. I was doing a series of things with my friends John McKnight and John Schwanke, who also played on my record 205, and we've been in multiple bands together. We were doing a thing at Darwin's on Monday nights called New Yankee AllStars, Not Your Average Mondays, where I decided to be completely therapeutic with improvisation. And we spontaneously composed every gig, every week. I don't think we took one request other than give us a subject matter and a topic, and we're a topic and a key, and we're going to improvise on that. Very Frank Zappa, very avant-garde. Even though some things ended up being very formalist, some stuff is very out. I am absolutely enamored with that kind of stuff. Two of my favorite records of the 90s were Zero Tolerance for Silence by Pat Metheny, who's one of my all-time favorite guitarists and composers anyway, but that record is really a gem. If you're interested in avant-garde music and experimental improvisation, that is definitely Pat Metheny like you do not understand him. It's challenging, and I'm sure it was challenging to him. He was definitely going through something, because he's so known for improvising beautifully. And I'm not saying he doesn't play out, because of course he plays out, but there's just a beauty to the way that he plays out when he's playing more quote unquote traditionally. I don't know any other way to say that. But this is definitely not trying to be pretty, even though there's a ballad on there that is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard, but it is very dissonant and very discordant and very, very challenging to hear. That one, and there's another record that Trey Anastasio did with Sun Ra's band called Surrender to the Air that was another spontaneously composed record. Amazing. Let's see. There was another record that came out in the 90s that was very influential for this kind of stuff for me. That was called Black Light Syndrome. That was Terry Bozzio, Steve Stevens, and Papa Bear, bass by Tony Levin. Amazing, amazing record. Also during that time, Mike Portnoy, John Petrucci, Jordan Rudess, and John Myung did a thing called Liquid Tension Experiment. They did two records that were largely spontaneous improvisation. So I'm fascinated with this stuff. Plus, Frank Zappa is a hero of mine, and there's plenty of examples of him composing spontaneously and formidably. Like, just can't say enough stuff about that. Completely enamored with improvisation. I'm a terrible jazz musician, but I love the language of jazz and the art of improvisation. So yeah, there's all that stuff. So I started doing that, and then about July, I stopped shaving altogether. July 4th was the last time I was clean shaven, or maybe I just not shaved that day, and I haven't really shaved since. I've done the mullet of beards and trimmed my mustache just so I could get a cup of coffee in there, which, if you are coffeeing, cheers. So this is literally the apathetic depression beard. Wasn't really trying to figure out how long my beard can grow. I'm kind of amazed how fast my beard has grown so long, but it was never my intention to have a super long beard and grow it. I just figured when I was ready to get out of this funk and get back to work, I would cut it back to something reasonable. Though it is interesting. Everybody comments on my beard. Some people love it, some people hate it. But everybody comments on it, so that's an argument for holding on to it for a while. So I don't know. Obviously, my beard grows quickly, so I think I can cut it off and do whatever I need to with it. Anyway, I'll finish up and then I'll read some of the comments here. So yeah, that's where the beard came from. And let's see. Since then, part of this YouTube channel is going to be growing. And one of the things that I did with the new Yankee AllStars is I live streamed all of that stuff on Facebook. And of course, you can't monetize Facebook. So that stuff has been sitting over there. If you want to go watch any of it, you can go to my Facebook artist page. It's there. I have since pulled it all offline, and I'm going to start uploading it. I've been meaning to start doing it this fall. Just been behind on some things. Just been so crazy busy uploading all of those. There's like 40 hours of spontaneously composed music of me just dealing with that and trying to just put myself in an uncomfortable position to get outside of my head or inside of my head or inside of the spirit, tap into the infinite or whatever it is I've been trying to do. So that's been a big piece of my therapy, just trying to, and I've always done the spontaneous composition thing. That was just the first time I ever was like, this is it. This is all I'm going to do for this gig, this standing. That's it. I still do that. I've been doing Jelly Night. It's Wednesday. Again, last Jelly Night of the year is this Wednesday, and then we move to Thursdays next year. But we start every Jelly Night with a spontaneously composed piece, and I think right now it's the longest standing run of a tune that I am calling "Don't Quit Your Day Job," and I think we're up to part 15 or part 14 or something like that. I'll have to ask Z-Man. He's been taping and archiving all of that stuff, and bless him, he tapes everybody, Fish and Widespread and Jimmy Herring and Charlie Hunter and all of those guys. So I have this really bizarre career where people know me in the jam band thing, and people know me in the blues thing, and people know me in the acoustic world, and then people know me in the metal world, and they know me in the instrumental guitar world. It's like I've had too many things going on, and that might explain why the focus of my career has not really punched through anywhere. Although I will say that probably the longest stretch of that, when I was really going for it with Fozzy and Stuck Mojo, like my time with those bands, we were really ambitious about everything that we were doing for a lot of reasons, personal and professional. I gave that my all. So that's probably why I'm probably best known for the metal stuff and the instrumental guitar stuff, because it was super, I don't know if aggressive, but we were just motivated and focused, and what a great band, that lineup at the time. I think we were just all hungry and really going for it, and we definitely stayed in the trenches together. So what else? So that's going to be coming to the YouTube channel. More demonstration videos. Let me talk about that for a second, because I've been using the Jelly Night. I started with this thought to bring out gear and to try out gear. So I've been trying out different things. I want to bring that into, that's going to be my next move in my demonstration thing, is I'll do proper demonstration videos, but I would really like for the jam to be sort of a moment for, this is where you can try out this gear, not just here's a guy using Pro Tools in his studio. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because that's exactly what I do. It's kind of the way you have to do it. but in a live situation where you're playing with other musicians, or it can be like a little gear clinic where every week there's a new piece of gear. If you've bought gear and you want to put it to its paces, bring it to me and let's shoot it out. Develop some opinions about what it does and what it doesn't do and what it shouldn't do and what you're going to do with it anyway. There's all of that. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that'll be a function of both Jelly Night and the Mike Martin and Friends Wednesday night. It'll start with acoustic guitar stuff. This guitar will be a feature of that. This is a new company to me, Gopher Wood Guitars. If you follow my stuff, I've never had a proper acoustic guitar of my own ever in my life. Although I do have a Yamaha 12-string that my mom got me so that I could play professionally with her when I was 14. I still have that, and it'll be out as well. I'm going to get that fitted with some new DiMarzio acoustic pickups as well, probably sometime early next year. But these guitars are amazing. They're Korean built. They're faith-based, which is awesome, even though I'm not a sacred musician. I'm definitely a secular musician, but I think if you read my composition titles, I definitely keep a theme of some spiritual, if not religious things, because I was brought up Catholic and have a lot of spiritual ideologies and things like that. I do firmly believe that we are not a body with a soul. We are a soul having a human experience. So I believe that. Anyway, so I'm super excited about that, and it's got one of the best built-in pickups that I've heard on a guitar. It's got a undersaddle pickup as well as a microphone inside the guitar, and it's got a blend knob on it. It sounds fantastic, and I've been using this along with a Fishman Aura pedal DI that sounds tremendous as well. So acoustic guitar world has been really good. This will be a feature of that. I'm also getting into the looping thing. Thanks, Dixie Duncan, for that. I recently got a Boomerang Plus, Phrase Sampler Plus. I think that's what it is. And I'm going to be figuring out how to use that. So come out and watch me butcher using that thing, because I'll be doing a lot more solo stuff. I might even sing from time to time. That stuff could happen. Hey, Paul, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So that's going to be a thing. So that's Wednesdays and Thursdays coming up for the start of 2019. Plus, already got dates on my calendar for Jessies Girls. So there's going to be a bunch of that stuff. That's mostly private event stuff, which is why I don't share the dates and locations of all of that stuff, because we go out, we're hired, we do that stuff, and this stuff has long been booked. It's been on the calendar for a minute. Other things that are going to happen on this channel are going to be just Guitar World stuff. I teased a couple of years ago when I was trying to figure out what the hell am I doing. I was going to do a feature on all of my guitars and my gear and all of that stuff, because people ask me questions about that stuff. And I don't have a lot of guitars. I never really wanted to have a giant collection of guitars. I wouldn't know what to do with that many guitars. I love the idea of having one guitar and it just being your sort of ever-present companion. So I have a few guitars that do a few things, and then I have a couple of backups, and they're all really fine instruments to me. So I'm pretty excited about those, but they've all got a whole lot of wear and tear. I'm going to be going through a series with Dave Onorato, who's a good friend of mine, amazing guitar player, amazing luthier. You've probably seen him on Rick Beato's channel, Everything Music. If you haven't gone over to Rick Beato's channel, go to Rick Beato's Everything Music channel and watch everything that guy does, because he's brilliant, he's a genius, and just what a talented and thoughtful educator, theorist, composer, guitarist, bassist, producer, engineer, everything. And his channel is completely amazing, with all the knowledge and education that he's dropping on everybody. So yeah, you've probably seen Dave over there on his channel. Dave and I were on a show called Wire and Wood some years ago, before guitar internet YouTube channels really took off, and we talked a lot about preferences for guitar building and luthier stuff, and Mike Delaney from Delaney Guitars, the builder, he was on there as well, talking about just wood choices and tone choices and pickups. So like we were going through everything on there. If I can find some archives, I'll share those around as well. We did a handful of episodes trying to get that off the ground, and it was just very cumbersome to do it at the time. So I'm going to be taking all of my guitars one by one to Dave Onorato. To do some work. In particular, everybody really knows me from playing that UV 777. That's a 98. That's the first year they made the black one with the pearl binding and the disappearing pearl pyramid and the other pyramid behind the bridge and the mirrored pickguard. It was the first year they did that. I got to cherry pick that one because I was working for a big music store here in Atlanta called Ken Stanton Music, and we had several. So I literally, when they came in, I played all of them, and I picked the one that is the one. It's been an amazing guitar. It's probably my favorite guitar. I've done a couple of mods to it, but nothing really. It still has the original DiMarzio Blaze pickups in it. I've thought about changing them, but I love them, so I'm just going to keep it as it is. I did put a push-pull coil tap in it. We'll go through all that stuff. FU Tone, Floyd Road upgrades, did help me out with some stainless steel nut locks and some titanium string retaining blocks in the bridge. And that's been a process of going through and upgrading that stuff. Plus all the electronic components inside have been upgraded to it's a DiMarzio 5-way switch, DiMarzio 500K pot, and a DiMarzio 500K push-pull. So that's all happening with that. But I have never refretted that guitar, and I have played the frets off of that. And that guitar has taken a couple of hits over the years. One was on that tour with Tony McAlpine, where a bass amp had fallen across the gig bag in a ferry ride. It was in the trailer, unfortunately. It survived that, and then Doug kind of did a caveman move at the end of a show somewhere in Spain, and it knocked the neck. It's a bolt-on neck. It knocked it in the pocket, so now it shifts subtly when you tug on it. So I need to get that shimmed up proper and make sure that it's nice and tight. So Dave's going to help me with all that stuff, plus just going through the maintenance of my other guitars. I'm going to swap out some pickups in my 8-string. We got a couple other fun things that I want to do. So that's going to be a part of the channel. There'll be hopefully throughout the year I'll be able to get all of these guitars done, if not all of them this year, because I don't have enough money to do all of them, unfortunately, at one time. Over the next 2 years, we'll go through every single one and get them all back into fighting shape. But the most important ones are going to come up because I've got some recordings that I'm going to start. And that's the next thing to talk about for 2019, because the rest of this last year and a half, 2.5 years, I have pretty much I've not done any shows of my own, except for a little over a year ago, I did a solo gig where I premiered some of the music off of my new Drive record. I just played it solo guitar. That's the only time I've played that stuff out. I may have done some stuff on YouTube, but that's it. If you were at that Alzheimer's music benefit, then you get to witness that. I think there's a small amount of video out there, but I haven't seen much else. Let me see. I did do a little bit of session work for a record with my friend Nan, who is an amazing writer and cellist. I think that'll be coming out in 2019. I have not heard a release date for it, but I played on a couple of tunes for her, and I think there might be some touch-up stuff that David, the producer, wants me to hit on. I need to get caught up with him and see what he wants to do about that. And then I'll let you know when that's out and available, because the two things I played on are really fun. Let's see. Dixie Duncan and I have been doing all kinds of crazy stuff where we've done some solo gigs. We've done some radio gigs in Nashville. We've got another one coming up for JJO in, I believe it's March. We're going to be in Orlando, Florida. So I'll keep you posted about that when that's happening. I'm excited about that. I don't know if that will coincide with any of the new Star Wars stuff at Disney, but if it does, I will probably figure out a way to jump in a very long line so that I can see something Star Wars over there, because I know 2019 is supposed to be a pretty exciting thing for all that. Let's see, what else? I have also done a couple of tours with Dixie Duncan. We did the Dixie Duncan band a little over a year ago up in Wisconsin. We did all kinds of fun stuff with that. We've also opened for King's X. We've opened for, God, who else are we open for? We've opened for a bunch of people that I can't remember off the top of my head, but we've done a bunch of stuff, and Dixie's constantly working. And we have recently changed the name of the Dixie Duncan band to the Tragedy Strategy. And we did another tour up in Wisconsin back in September that was very successful and a lot of fun. So there's going to be more going on with that. We're talking about doing some recording in 2019, so look out for that. In the meantime, Dixie's been working on stuff, and I have contributed some acoustic guitar playing to his. He's got a new EP coming out very soon, if not now. I think he was going to drop something on Christmas, and I need to pay attention because I've been doing a bunch of family stuff and not a bunch of work stuff. But follow Dixie Duncan and all of his trials and adventures, and you'll hear about that. But I believe that is the Kingdom of Nothing EP, or I forget what he's calling it. But it'll be all the stuff that he's really marketing with that. We'll be doing some performing to promote that. Also, Dose Martens, me and Katie Martin, we've been playing all over the place, cigar bars, barbecue joints, whatever. Like, I'm just trying to be everywhere, and Katie's amazing, and she does the loop thing, and she's an amazing singer and amazing songwriter, and we have so much fun. So if you get a chance to see Dose Martens, please come see us wherever we are. And in particular, you'll be able to find us starting with some Wednesdays at Darwin's in Atlanta. And we are talking about doing an EP at least to have our own little thing. So that's going to be coming up. We're meeting. I believe it's next Wednesday, a week from today, about a bunch of that stuff. So that's happening. So look out for that, and I'll post you news when I get it. Dreaded Marco, I guess the last word on that. Everybody's been crazy busy. Haven't seen everybody in a minute. I've seen Mike Froge, but that's all I've seen. I haven't seen Charlie in a while. I think the last time I saw Charlie was at the Double Drive reunion gig at the 10 High, which was amazing. If you weren't there, I'm sure there's some videos floating around. I've got some videos. I think I posted one. Maybe I'll share some of the other ones I got on my cell phone as well. But hands down, some of the best rock shows I've been to in very, 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 very long time. Love those guys. And yeah, amazing. So yeah, we're talking about new Dreaded Marco music. We've been talking about it for a while, but everybody's been so busy with life stuff that that's going to happen. We're going to meet about that probably second week in January. And that is going to be a to-do. So we have music that we've been sitting on for a while. So probably at least an EP. I don't know if we're going to just maybe commit to doing a series of EPs or an album. That's all the stuff we need to talk about. There's probably going to be some whiskey involved in trying to figure that out. Also, let's see. My amazing friend David Mannion been playing keys with the band Kansas for the last 4 or 5 years. It was on the record Prelude Implicit and a live DVD that is out, or Blu-ray that's out. He is working on a project right now called Level 5, and he has asked me graciously to play a lot of metric fuck ton of guitar on, and I am going to do that. And he is firming up all of the demos now, and I am going to start my work on that in January while my traveling schedule is a bit lighter. So be on the lookout for that. Level 5 with David Mannion. Follow David and all the stuff that he does. He's on Facebook. I think as Manny Media, or just look up David Mannion Kansas. You will find him. He's amazing. Really excited about this project. It's really, really sounding good, and it's going to be really challenging for me to get my act together to actually play it appropriately. So that's going to happen. Don't know about releases for any of that stuff yet, because obviously I still need to track my stuff. But we're definitely going for the brass ring on that one, performing wise. So hopefully that will be some of you guys who maybe want to hear me shred a little bit more. I promise I'm not much of a shredder, but I will. I'm going to play as many notes as is illegal in this county. I'm going to do that. Let me see. There's also some session work I'm going to be doing with Leanne Christensen. I'm very excited about that. there's also some gigs with me and the Glenn Pridgeon Band that are coming up in January around Atlanta, and I'll let you guys know about that. Glenn's an amazing friend of mine, and looking really forward to doing those gigs. I feel like I'm missing something, but I've heaped on like way too much stuff. There's a potential tour coming up that I will hopefully like to tell you about very soon. It will be with a very popular rock band. If I can pull off the scheduling things that are going to be required to do it, I have been asked to do a tour. It's going to be good. I don't know the dates. I don't know where we're going, but it'll be opening for a band that I know you guys definitely know. And they're friends of mine, and I've not seen them in a while. So I'm excited about that, and I think you'll be excited about it too, because I might be able to be out somewhere where you are in the United States of America to actually see a proper rock show, and I promise to scorch the earth with that one. So as soon as I can say something about that, I will say something about that, but I'm pretty excited. Fingers crossed that this one is going to happen. And beyond all of that stuff, one of the things that I have done to circle back around, and then I'll go to the chat and maybe answer some questions, and we'll do some stuff there. My own music, some of the stuff that has been challenging with that, I'm feeling very motivated to get back to it. It's way past time. It was past time when I started working on it 3 years ago, and then now I've sat on it for all of this time. So I'm going to figure out, unfortunately, you have to think about the marketing stuff about all this stuff. It's art music, so I'm going to do everything very artfully. I don't think there's going to be a grand commercial success with it. I have a very limited expectation on that side of it, but some of the other things I've been doing to work on myself and just work period have been trying to alleviate a bit of that financial burden of, are you a financial success as an artist? Because I'm very proud of the work that I do. I'm very proud of the things that I've written. I'm very eager to continue working and writing and improving and studying and all of that stuff. And I'd like to continue to be a beacon for anybody else who's working on all of their own art and their own music and guitar playing and whatever instrument you play. So taking the financial burden off that. The art and commerce is a very difficult thing to navigate, because if you're doing something with your heart on your sleeve and then you really start thinking about how much the dollar value of your art is, all of a sudden you can start feeling, at least I do, you start feeling like your art is worth shit because you're not getting paid shit for it. So rather than continue to wallow in the mire of that, I have chosen to wallow in the mire of, I'm going to go do something else, and I'm going to break my back, and I'm going to worry about money that way so that I can get back to just making that music for the love of the art, and commerce be damned. But I'm going to do everything artfully with it. My website has been down for a while. That's going to get a complete artful redo. My buddy Adam Fox and I have been talking about that for a number of years now. And he and I, Adam, if you get to see this video, we're way overdue for a cigar hang. Maybe we can get that done this weekend. But I am also going to do the cigar. I'm going to extend the cigar hang to these YouTube chats. That's going to be a regular chat thing. It'll be a scheduled cigar hang thing. So if you like cigars, I will be having a cigar. And most of the cigars I like take 30 minutes to an hour to smoke. So that'll be a good opportunity to sit in front of a camera and chat about stuff with you guys. Also, I've been going to cigar bars all over the country with Dennis Kofer, Batman, our bass player for Jessies Girls, who's an amazing, amazing musician. And he also likes cigars. So every time we're in a town, our walkabouts usually involve going somewhere to find a cigar bar and having a smoke while we're out and about. That's our little guilty pleasure that we get to share that. Yeah, so that's definitely going to be a thing. And I keep tagging myself as being all these cigar bars, and now all these cigar companies are following me on Instagram, and it's really cool. So if I've kind of become a part of the cigar community, even though I don't really smoke cigars that often, I will do it because I'm a whore and I like the attention and I like cigars. So yeah, if you're interested in that, don't smoke cigarettes, but the occasional cigars is really good. I'm also I still have a pipe tobacco, or a tobacco pipe. I may try smoking that again. I haven't smoked that in a long time since I quit smoking cigarettes 11 years ago, almost 12 years ago now. So I'm not anti-tobacco, I'm just anti-cigarette because they're just terrible. So there's all of that stuff. And that kind of ties in. What have I been doing? How have I also been so busy? With all of my running around and all of this stuff, I have been working for this company. This company is called the Icebox. And I came to this company through my bass player, Scott Williams, who was working there as part of their screen printing department. And I thought two things when I went and applied for a job there. And a really good friend of mine, Kevin Watford, is the manager for screen printing at this company. He plays drums for Bigfoot. You may remember him from a band called Gonzalez. Amazing guy, really lovely dude. He's looked out for me in ways that you can't possibly imagine. Like he's just a solid bro and a friend that is really awesome. So anyway, I thought two things. I'll get a day job. I haven't had a day job in 16 years when I started working there. Very challenging and frustrating to get back on the day grind. But to alleviate the financial stresses of art and commerce, that was the thing. So that, so that takes care of the money stuff. And it's screen printing. And what are musicians if not glorified t-shirt salespeople? So I get a discount on the t-shirts, which nobody has seen me produce any new t-shirts or any new merch or anything like that. Partly because no new music, no new merch, but I'm going to start doing the merch thing before the record is ready because I need a different income stream. And there's lots of things. And clearly, this company does all kinds of branding and other things. So I don't know if I'm going to get into other types of merch, but certainly coffee mugs. I drink a lot of coffee. I'd like for you guys to drink coffee with either my face or my name on it, and you can share that with your friends or just whatever. There's so many cool things that they do. Like if there's a piece of swag that you can put your moniker on, we do it. So I've been working for these guys for about a year and a half. It's been challenging. It's been trying, but they've been working with me in my performing schedule. I literally have not been taking time off for anything. I get up at 6 a.m. And if I'm teaching until 10 o'clock at night. And if I'm gigging, I'm out until usually 1 a.m. And then I'm right back up at 6 to get back to work. A lot of times I'm leaving town Thursday nights or Friday nights on the bus with Jessies Girls. And then we're playing. I'm up until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning every night playing with them. And then I get back in town usually sometime Sunday, and it's a travel day and I'm exhausted. And then I'm right back to work on Monday morning at 6, getting up at 6. I'm exhausted, but I'm an insomniac anyway, so I've not been sleeping. Definitely testing the mettle of my insomnia and how far can I go before I absolutely crash. So far, I haven't crashed, so there's something about my constitution that is either very punishing or really awesome, and we're going to find out the absolute limits of it in 2019 because I'm still at the Icebox. I think you've heard all the recording stuff I'm about to do, plus more tour stuff, plus more Jessies Girls stuff, plus all the different bands. I am literally just going to run until I can't run anymore. I'm going full Forrest Gump on this. So that is that. In the meantime, my own writing stuff, I'm going to be continuing to steadily work on Drive, my new record, the double record. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but what I will do is maybe I will release some singles along the way to help fund the record and get some pre-sales on that. I will probably do some kind of a pre-sale when the record is closer to being ready. One of the reasons I got the day job also was not that I'm against online crowdfunding, but I've watched a lot of people do it, and a lot of it just seems like internet begging, and I didn't want to be seen as another internet beggar. There's also a lot about doing a campaign and not having a really solid plan behind it and then failing at the campaign. And that was something else that I don't think my spirit could handle. So I wanted to make sure that if I do any kind of a crowdfunding campaign, I'm not dependent on the funds that I gain from it. I can use that more for a what are people really interested in terms of the perks of a campaign, pre-sales, so on and so forth. But the album is funded, that there's nothing that stops me. That way, it's no matter what, it's a success and the record gets made. It's just what are the other things along the way, and then I can use the crowdfunding as another way to promote that the record is coming out and about to be available. So there is that. I've got another lengthy, I say lengthy, I have one particular piece of music that I've been working on that is an art piece of music, and it's going to be interesting, but it's art music and it's abstract, and it's very guitar, but it's probably going to be somewhat orchestral as well, even though I don't know if I'll be able to use real orchestral musicians. We shall see, budget and what entertains me. But I think it's going to be another one of those, I don't know who's going to play on it. It may just be something that I do of my own design and I program everything, because it's going to be impossible to ever perform it. But between Kerry Denton and Garrett Whitlock and Frank Fonseray and Mike Froge and John McKnight, I've got so many amazing drummers, Achilles Priester, that I know who are willing to work on my stuff, that we shall see where that goes. Don't know exactly, but I do know that Garrett Whitlock has agreed to play on Drive. That happened. That happened right before not Alter Bridge, but the Tremonti Band went on tour with Iron Maiden. They agreed to do that, and I just haven't sent them stuff because I haven't been ready to work. But yeah, Mark Tremonti's drummer is going to play on my stuff. He's a friend. I love that guy. He's going to play his ass off too. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, if you thought Wormwood was a son of a bitch, wait to hear this one. It's going to be good. Anyway. That pretty much wraps up all of the current event stuff. I have been buying little things to help out. I've got this, you see this halo over here. I bought a light to help me with my video stuff, although I can tell my video today looks terrible. I bought some other things, this laptop in particular. I've got an iPad, and like little things I've been picking up along the way to help me either record on location or do some filming on location. So that I can be in work mode. And I think there's always more stuff to get, but I think I've got a pretty good complement of stuff. My first ever Marshall, this JCM 900, is going to get modded slightly by my good friend Jeff Perkins of Perkins Amplification. So we're going to do a video series on that. JCM 900s, not my favorite Marshall. But I've played a bunch of them as backline amps, and this one is a good one of all the 900s that I've played. And I don't think anything has been changed in it at all. It belonged to a friend of mine who passed this year, and I was fortunate enough to be able to acquire it. Means a lot to me to have it. I wanted to have it whether it would be a great sounding amp or not. It's a great sounding amp, but there's a few tweaks I'm going to have done to it, and Jeff's going to handle that. So that's going to be on the YouTube channel. Also, Butch Weaver, my friend that passed, that this amp belonged to, also had a 1984 Gibson Explorer, one of the ones like the one that James Hetfield had, the three-knob white one that Hetfield had back in the mid-'80s, which I wanted and lusted after so much as a kid. I have a black one, and it is my first Gibson that I've ever owned, and the first, I guess, technically vintage guitar I've ever bought. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to get a lot of work coming up this year. And I think I'm going to take it out to Jelly Night tonight because I really liked it last week. It's something special. And it's going to get some mods too. I like the original pickups that are in it, but I'm going to put some DiMarzios in it because, well, I'm a DiMarzio artist, so I feel compelled to do things with DiMarzio. But not just because of that, but what's awesome about being a DiMarzio artist for me is I was buying DiMarzio pickups and electronics and straps and cables and using them everywhere anyway. So really fortunate to have a relationship with all the really great people at DiMarzio, and getting to talk with them about which pickups we're going to put in all of my different guitars. And I think I'm at a point where I'm about ready to settle into these are generally my pickups. And we'll talk more about that on this channel as well, because I think we're all on this tone journey, but I think I'm about settled on that. So that'll be part of the journey with the Dave Onorato stuff as well. And if I can get up to New York and actually do an interview with Steve Blucher for this channel, I will absolutely try to make that happen. I'm also going to do some artist on artist stuff, interviewing my friends, because I started doing that for Rock Revolt magazine, where I talked with Ian Thornley, one of my favorite guitar players of all time. There's a chat with him, and I may post the audio up here. I also got to talk with, oh God, My brain. I talked with a bunch of people. I will. Steve Hackett. Good Lord, of Genesis. Who else did I talk with? I talked with a handful of really amazing people. And I have the audio of those chats. You can still read those interviews on Rock Revolt. It's an artist on artist feature that I was doing for them. But I'll post the audio of the raw conversations at some point on this channel too, so you can check that stuff out. Is that not enough? Like, I'm sure there's more stuff I'm going to be doing, because like I'm literally losing my mind and cannot sit still. And I'm not going to sit still. Sitting still is really bad for me. I have some things to finish so that I can lay down. And when I lay down, it's going to be a good day, a really good day. So yeah, that's all that stuff. So while I have a few more minutes, because this is about an hour, which I think is probably long enough for this kind of a chat, before I do the next one, let me look over here and see if there's any comments, questions, things of that nature. Kiss. Yeah, I love Kiss. One of my favorite bands growing up. Oh yeah, like being highly functioning is definitely a thing. Like I have a mild obsessive compulsive disorder. It's not as debilitating as some people have, which I know is on the autism scale as well. It's not as bad as some people, but certainly the more my anxiety goes up, the more my obsessive compulsive disorder rears its head. And of course, becomes a feedback loop. Music has been a really good thing for helping me to manage that, which is why I think working through art and language is a really great way to deal with depression and anxiety, because it does kind of help focus that stuff in a channel. So certainly the mathematical nature and the physical nature of studying a musical instrument helps a lot. And on that, I will say this, much to my chagrin, but probably much to my mother's rejoicing. My mom is an opera singer, classical singer. She honestly thought her whole life that I was going to be a singer. And it was not my thing. I do sing. If you've seen me with any of the bands that I work in, I do sing. But backups, I very rarely do lead vocals. I do some with my band. If you see me out and about doing some of the longer sports bar type gigs where I'm the only band playing for 2 or 3 sets, then I definitely do sing some. Part of Wednesday nights and this whole acoustic thing is, and the therapy, music therapy, is going to be, I'm going to start singing. And I've been putting it off for a very long time because I'm not a big fan of the sound of my voice. I've gotten a lot of encouragement over the years to do it, but I am not a fan of the sound of my voice, which, from what I understand of most singers, everybody is uncomfortable with the sound of their voice to a certain point until they really start feeling like they've got a handle on it. So that's going to be another thing. The physicality of singing, I think, is going to be a big thing, because that's really the whole tie-in of doing something physical, doing something mathematical, doing something linguistically, and using all of your brain. It uses everything and all of your physiology. So I'm hoping I'm going to get some good results from that. Whether I become a singer who sings all the time, I don't know that I would necessarily put out a vocal album, but you might possibly see a vocal single. Certainly more of my singing on Dreaded Marco records and stuff with Dixie Duncan and with Katie Martin and Dose Martin. So be looking out for that. Looping can be fun. I've got a TC Electronic Mini Ditto looper, which I've been using for teaching, and I have used it for effect on some gigs, but it's been off my board for a while. It's sitting up there on top of that Marshall. It's super cool what you can do with one button on that thing, but I have found, because of the one button thing, and it's got a very limited memory, you can't do like full song arrangements. So it was either get a bigger Ditto looper or something like it. And Dixie Duncan happened to have this Boomerang, which this is one of the better sounding ones, even though this one is discontinued. It's an older one. I know it was pretty popular, so it's going to be my foray into that. So I'm excited about that. Oh yeah, Heart is great. I have not met Zach Wilde. I was supposed to do a gig in 2000 and I remember, I think it was 2005. It was going to be at the NAMM show, and it was going to be Fozzy and Black Label Society and Damage Plan. And unfortunately, it was right around December of 2004, I believe. If I've got the date wrong, please forgive me. That Dime was killed out on tour, tragically. So that show was obviously canceled. So I did not get to meet Dime or Zach, which hurt my heart in a lot of ways, not just personally because I'm such a fan, but obviously that was a tremendous tragedy in every manner of speaking. So yeah, that's as close as I got to meeting Zach, although he's good friends with Chris and Rich. Just our paths didn't cross during my time with the band. Let's see. Yeah, Dixie Duncan is a great name. 2019 will certainly be busy. I don't know if it'll be the bomb. It's certainly going to be busy. I'm going to make it as good as I possibly can. Trying to manage my expectations, but I figure if I just keep running at that wall until I can't run into it anymore, something good will happen, even if it's just passing the hell out. Yeah, Kiss Tour. Yeah, I see that. How do I rest after all that? Well, because I don't sleep. I really just try to lay down when I can and rest. I was watching a lot of movies and stuff. I guess really anything Star Wars is kind of my thing. It's kind of like the being rocked, because it's the first movie I remember seeing with my dad and my brother. And collecting Star Wars figures and Star Wars cards and stuff like that. Like Star Wars has been such a big part of my life growing up and into now that if I'm having a bad day, like if I just want to, turn the lights off and watch Star Wars, I'm usually okay. And of course, I've bought every Star Wars movie there is, and I've seen all of Clone Wars, the cartoon, both versions, the Cartoon Network version and the anime version, as well as the Rebels, which are great, and I watch them probably all more than I should admit. I do like the standalone movies. I think Rogue One and Solo were good. I have opinions about The Last Jedi, but considering everything I know about franchises, it certainly does put a lot of emphasis on what's going to be in the next movie, and I think in that way the movie did its job of trying to bridge a gap. So many questions and things being unhappy with, I think, puts a lot of emphasis on seeing the next movie. So I think it did its job there. Forget about all the stuff I can be critical about. It's still a Star Wars movie. I still watch it. I've watched it several times, even if it's just to find things that I like about it. It's beautifully shot. It looks amazing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Frank the Tank. He's a great dude. He's been a bro for many, many years. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, Fozzy is having a really good year with this last record, man. They really hit on something with this last record. So kudos to them. They really, they've been working hard for a long time. We worked hard when I was with them, and that's been a few years ago now. And they just haven't let up. So good on them. That's what it takes to get it done. Music does cure just about everything. Just about everything. Yeah, groundhogs are cute. Yeah, Vinny's gone now too. Just sadly, that is a thing about life. Yeah, the wrestling stuff that Chris does. Chris is amazing. If you followed all of Chris's career, he's done really well being creative with his personas and all of that stuff, and keeping his story moving forward and being interesting and entertaining. He's really brilliant. I know people I'm not the biggest wrestling fan. Just really fortunate and blessed that I've been skirting on the outside of the wrestling world, partly because of my association with Chris through Fozzy. But as an entertainment form, you could try to poo-poo it some, which I totally understand because it's interesting as a sport, but it definitely is a sport. Those guys really hit each other like that. It's a lot. Those guys are in great condition. They're taking a lot of punishment, and they work really hard. It's pretty crazy, and it's super entertaining. And of everybody, like everybody that I've met is super talented and gifted, not just being super muscly and genetically gifted to even get that muscly. Um, but wow, Chris is just absolutely brilliant in how he's shifted from from era to era in his career, which is he's been at it for a long time now, and managing to stay engaging with his audience and still grow his fan base and not just be relevant but be on top. Like he's really something else, man. He's a guy to keep your eye on and keep up with. He's such a inspiration as a talent, as a personality, as a just an entity in the entertainment world. Just can't say enough good stuff about him. All right. It has been an hour and 6 minutes, which is probably a little bit longer than I needed to talk. I've got a few errands that I've got to run and then get ready for Jelly Night tonight. So if you're in Atlanta, come to Jelly Night. We kick it off at 8:30. I will be there probably eating some Brussels sprouts because I've not had any Brussels sprouts this holiday season. Anyway, any questions before I sign off? Nice. Well, thank you so much for hanging out in the chat with me. I really, really appreciate that. Happy New Year to you too, man. I really appreciate that. And we will see you soon. I will be doing more of these on the regular. At least try to check in once a week, whether it's with the cigar hang or just a simple Q&A. It's just finding a good time to do it. Like I watch Pete Thorne's when he does it. If you're not following Pete Thorne, like, I don't know why you wouldn't. You should follow Pete Thorne because he's amazing and his demos are like top notch. And he's had a fantastic career and continues to have a fantastic career. And he's amazing. And he does a chat every Sunday, which is super cool. And he answers questions and he's so thoughtful and so engaging. Also, that pedal show has been doing a lot more Q&A stuff, though I think they tape their Q&As and then post them. I may do that another time. So if you have questions, send them to me in the comment section of this video and let me know what gear you got for Christmas or what you're going to get coming up or what you're looking forward to coming up at NAMM, which is coming up in January out in Anaheim. Not sure if I'm going to be there yet. It's looking like I'm here working, so I may not be in California again this year. But anyway, Happy New Year. Much love to you as well. Really appreciate you hanging out with me and keeping in touch. And anyway, let's say adieu right there. And Go For Wood Guitar. Go check out Go For Wood Guitar. If you like acoustic guitars, check out Go For Wood Guitars. Can't say enough good things about them because they're awesome and their guitars are delicious and they sound really good. They play really good. Better than I deserve. Ending.